In the first part of this video, I discussed the security problem that the DMCA poses to anyone who's received a takedown notice. For anyone who's had their video removed or their account suspended, they can get their account restored or their video put back up, but they have to give up their personally identifying information to the person who filed the complaint. That person could be some sort of a psychostalker. So what can be done about this? In this video, I'd like to discuss one possible solution. Filing a class action lawsuit against legitimate companies isn't going to make this problem go away. It's going to have zero effect on the company on this problem. What really needs to be done is pressure needs to be brought upon two different sources. First, the law needs to be changed. The law as it's written now is unconstitutional. Now the law was written in 1998, and there have been a lot of Supreme Court cases since then, which, after reading them, you can only conclude that the law is unconstitutional. We have a right to post anonymously, and the court system will only take away that right if our opponent, if someone files a lawsuit against us, and they can provide evidence, actual evidence to a court that we probably violated the law. The court system is not going to just waltz in on no evidence whatsoever and force us to surrender our anonymity. The DMCA gets around that, and the way it gets around this constitutionally required protection is to force us to surrender our own documents if we want to keep our account intact. So what we need to do is we need to put pressure on lawmakers to change the DMCA itself. Now, in an ideal world, copyright law would mirror libel law. The lawmakers many years ago, I think it was 1996, I forget exactly, decided that, hey, if we want the internet to thrive, if we want people to be able to contribute their points of view to a chat room, we have to give the people who run these chat rooms immunity against libel posted by third parties. And so they passed the Communications Decency Act, and Section 230 gives sites like YouTube protection against libel lawsuits for information filed against for information that's posted to their site by third parties. And ideally, copyright law should do the same. However, there's no way in the hell that's going to happen because you have very powerful moneyed interests paying high-powered lobbyists to prevent that from happening. You're not going to get the Disneys and the Viacoms or what have you to just roll over and play dead and let that happen. So the next best thing would be to implement a solution that's suggested in the comment section of Voices in the Head's video. And if you look through the comment section, you'll see that someone suggested that what YouTube should do is they should, instead of sending the counter notice directly to the complaining party, they should withhold the identifying information. They should send it, but they should kind of cross out the information of your name, address, and phone number. And then if a court sends YouTube a subpoena demanding this information be turned over in conjunction with a lawsuit, then YouTube should surrender those documents. I would have one improvement on that. YouTube, upon getting a subpoena, really should send the subpoena to the party who filed the counter notice and let them quash the subpoena, because anyone can get a court to subpoena something on very little evidence, and that's why the legal system provides the ability to file a response in order to quash the subpoena, and then a court will really look at things and look and say, well, gee, is there enough evidence that it's worth risking the anonymity of this person to let the subpoena go through and be enforced? So the law should be changed to allow that, but pending the law being changed, and it could take months or years before the law is actually changed, it would be nice to see YouTube implement this policy on its own. Now, YouTube is reluctant to do this because the way the DMCA is written, it's really not allowed to do this and get any sort of protection from the DMCA. And that's unfortunately the way the law is written. However, maybe if there's enough pressure on YouTube, they might do this and take the risk anyway. But a lot of pressure would have to be brought to bear. Now, YouTube could defend itself if it were brought into court on this by claiming that the DMCA is unconstitutional if they only turn over the counter notice without the identifying information. There's no doubt in my mind YouTube would be successful if they wanted to do this, but they're not going to do this without a hell of a lot of pressure. And I mean a hell of a lot of pressure. What needs to be done is not just for a few people on YouTube to be bringing up this issue and talking about it, but you're fairly prominent, Renetto, but we need people who are even more prominent in our corner. We need to get the wine cones, the Smoshes, the Venetian Princesses, the Whatthebucks talking about it. Some of them I think may actually take up this issue if they're approached. Now you have a much higher profile than I do, Renetto, so I'm hoping what you'll do is post Voices in the Head's video to your channel after getting his permission, of course, and I'm sure he'll grant you the permission. Post it to your channel. You have much better contacts with the big namers than I do. I hope that you're able to convince them to take up the cause, and then have them post his video to their channels. And if you get a lot of big namers raising awareness of this issue, then we can all pick a day in which everybody bombards YouTube with letters asking them to change their policy, in which they start writing letters to the editors and get this out to the real world, get some real world attention on this issue. And perhaps most importantly, get people to post videos to John McCain's channel. Now I see that he accepts video responses. I don't know whether he screens them or not. I would imagine he does. Even if he screens the video responses and he doesn't allow these as responses to videos, his offices will be undoubtedly aware if, say, 500 people post a video demanding DMCA reform. Unfortunately, it looks like Barack Obama doesn't accept video responses, but still, if you get thousands of people writing to his channel on a particular day saying, hey, we've got a real problem on YouTube, we've got a real problem on the internet, we've got a real problem protecting our anonymity that is guaranteed by the Constitution, anonymity that may be necessary for security to prevent someone from getting killed. Well, if you can get a large audience, a large number of people writing, then maybe this has a chance. But as I see it right now, a class action lawsuit just kind of misses the point, and you and me just talking about it, well, we're not going to get enough people interested in it to do much of anything. It's only when this is driven home to thousands and thousands of people that their channel can be suspended, and there's not a damn thing they can do about it unless they're willing to give up their anonymity. Only then do we have a chance of seeing DMCA reform. I encourage you to keep up your good work, and I thank you once again. And don't let Greg Solomon's jibes get you down or dissuade you from pursuing this issue. This has been the Masked Analyst, under an N.